Welcome back to another episode of OpenRCT2 tutorials. This video is the sixth part of my Waterpark series where I show you how to build a water park in OpenRCT2. Previously I showed you how to build a wave pool as well as a lazy river. Then we moved on to a water slide combo tower, so multiple slides all operating as one. Then we did the twist and splash or spinning teacups 2.0, followed by the family raft slide. All of those tutorials are linked in the video description. But today I'm going to show you how to build a splash pad. Now, splash pads are where water sprays out of the pavement in a random manner, so it kind of delights kids as the water surprises them and comes out and gets them all wet. So really fun on a hot summer day. So here are a few examples in the real world of splash pads. So you can see the water spraying out of the pavement. Nice little fountains and jumping fountains, I guess, from the game work really well for this. So just something fun for the kids that you can add to your park. So to get started, we are going to dig a little trench wherever you want your splash pad. So we'll do a 3x3 grid. Now I just want to add pavement over the top. I suppose we could have done this step first, but we build the pavement. And then now we're going to add the jumping fountains. You don't really need to do it in the center one. And now, once that's finished, we need to open the cutaway view so we can see down below this path and continue building. So here in cutaway view, I'm just going to lower it all the way down till we're just below the path. So there we can see it. Now we just go down and that's perfect. So now we are going to put the path on the bottom, but first we need to turn on the disable clearance checks. Now we can build the path here, and you can see the guests are starting to fall down onto this path, and that's an issue with the tile inspector order. So if we open the tile inspector here, you can see that the footpath here, which is on top, needs to actually be lowered beneath the footpath below so that guests will not drop down. So I'm going to quickly just do that for each one here. So if you just hold down control, you can select each pavement and then just move it down. It's really nice if you set up the hotkeys for your tile inspector, makes it go faster. But now with cutaway view, we can see they're still stuck there, but we are just going to add our jumping fountains on the bottom layer. And with that finished, we're going to open the tile inspector once more. And now I'm going to select this bottom tile here, and we're going to copy it and then paste it. And so here you can see it right there, and we're just going to raise it up in the tile inspector order and then raise it also up 1 unit. So it's kind of at a invalid height technically, but the guests will still pop up onto it. And now you can actually build the path here at this invalid height, and the guests will pop up on it and then pop up to the top eventually, I think, if the tile inspector order is correct. But just add your jumping fountains here as well. Now open the tile inspector, and we just need to make sure the order is correct. So you want that one that's at base height 14, which is our top layer. So that one needs to go all the way to the bottom so that guests will make sure that they don't fall down anymore. So just make sure that the top layer is actually on the bottom in the tile inspector order. So I know this is a little bit confusing, but basically you want level that you want the peeps to walk on to be the lowest level in the tile inspector order. So you can see all the peeps have safely made it out. And now I'm going to find the geyser, which is from one of the expansion packs, and I'm going to place it right in the middle. So there we have the geyser scenery piece. Now this is optional, you don't have to add it if you don't want to, but I'm going to select it in the tile inspector and just lower it down 3 base height units. So just lower it down so it's going to be underground a little bit. So that way it's hidden beneath the path. But now we need to open the tile inspector, and I want to hide all of these footpaths. So we want to hide this one, that's the bottom level. So just click the invisible. It's the bottom level of the tile inspector order, but the top level of paths. So I'm going to quickly make each one of these invisible, and that's just so you don't see the jumping fountains. And we're going to do that for the mid level as well. So that way you won't see the jumping fountains. You'll still see the water, but you won't see the little spouts that stick up. So now we're going to open the tile inspector and just select this blank piece of path right here, and we're going to copy it and then paste it because we need to actually have something for the guests to walk on. So it's at the top level of the tile inspector order. So the actual footpath they're walking on is the lowest level that's invisible. But at the bottom here, we're going to check all of these connected edges to make sure they're all selected, then copy it, and we're going to then paste it. So basically this is going to be a proxy path. So the guests aren't actually walking on this, but it looks like they are, but it's nice with no edges. So that looks really fun. And now I'm just going to add some scenery. So just some nice pavement there. And we have our working splash pad. The geyser shoots up out of the pavement. and we have the multiple layers of jumping fountains. So that's why we have the different layers of path, because it looks really neat. So I think that is super fun and super easy to build. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, you can always add a maze on top of it. So we can take the mini maze here, there, the maze, and just build it here. And we are just going to put our entrance here. I think I'm going to, I think it's because disable clearance checks are turned on. I've turned those off there. Now it connects correctly, the entrance. And I'm going to turn that back on. And now we're just going to build our maze over the entire area with disable clearance checks turned back on. Whoops. And here we go. So just make some rows like that and then come back and do more rows. And now it's just all one big area. It's not too large, so they won't get too lost. The exit building is there correctly. Just fix up those spots. And it did mess up our path a little bit. That is a glitch with the game that I hope they fix one day. So just go on the tile inspector and fix that top layer of path so that all of the edges are connected. And now we can open it up, hide the entrance and exit building, and I am going to use the tile inspector to now make all of the edges of the maze invisible as well. So now we have a nice invisible maze. So guests are wandering through our splash pad. Oh, it keeps getting messed up when you add paths that I have to fix those connected edges. There we go. And add that little last piece of wall. And now we have our working splash pad with a hidden maze inside. So it's really fun. The guests will sometimes jump up and down as if they're looking in the maze, which makes it look like they're having fun splashing around. But here is another example where I'm just going to add a splash pad to the middle of this midway. So we're going to start by building the upper path, adding the jumping fountains. Then with cutaway view, we're going to drop down underground and add our path there. We need to turn on disable clearance checks, add our path, then add the jumping fountains, and then now we need to open the tile inspector, and I'm going to copy this path and then paste it, and then do that for each tile. So we're going to have that mid-level of path. I made it invisible, and I'm just pasting that invisible path for our mid-level. But now we need to move the upper level all the way down to the lowest level in the tile inspector order, and make that mid-level in the right order too. So it should actually go base height 14 at the bottom, base height 13, and then base height 12 at the top. That way the guests will all escape. So hope that makes sense. Just a little troubleshooting there, and make that one invisible. So now it looks like I just missed that path. So the upper path is invisible as well. Now we're going to copy this path piece here, add it, and make all the connected edges checked, and then paste that in. So now we have our nice splash pad, and I'm just going to, we want to make those edges connected there. So copy that, paste that in there. And now I'm just going to add one more level of path on either side. So the splash pad is just in the center 3 tiles, and we just need to add our geyser if we want to. Just put that right in the middle, open the tile inspector, lower that down 3 units, and now we have another working splash pad. So this is just another option, another style you can use. So I think that's fun if you just want to fill in a little bit of midway path there. But here is a final option, and this one I put geysers everywhere. I have a fountain in the middle. There's a lot going on. If you actually look in the center, I had to have some base blocks that are in with using the invisible color to kind of minimize the glitching. So you can see a lot of the order here. So I have 2 base blocks on the bottom, then a fountain, then a geyser, then a fountain, footpath, track. I don't know why I have so many fountains here. I probably could delete some of those. But there is a little bit of glitching with the fountain there in the center, and the geysers and the maze on top as well. So there's a lot you can do with these splash pads, and I think it's just fun to just play around and add fountains, and I really like the multiple layers of jumping fountains. I think it looks really cool. So that's pretty much all there is to it. I think this is a really fun addition to any water park, but also just a regular park. Real world examples are Cedar Point. They replaced their main midway fountain with a splash pad, so I think that's really fun and a nice addition to your park. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like. It really helps support this channel, or consider becoming a YouTube or Patreon member, where you will receive early access to all of my latest videos and other benefits, and check out the links in the video description for some really great RCT2 swag. And as always, make sure to subscribe, because next time I'm going to continue my water park series by showing you how to build a flow rider. So stay tuned for more.